to what you're trying to do. But until there's more effort on the part of dog owners to understand the needs of other people, we're not ready to go forward with this. So I recommend no action.
Second?
Second.
Yes, second. Okay, and then you want to speak next?
I just wanted to add to that definitely the education part, whether it's A-Dog or the Green Dog Task Force, or if I'm getting the name wrong.
A-Dog's great.
But the other thing that I heard last year that concerned me was addressing the issue of non-resident dog owners. I heard conflicting opinions that we could preclude them and that we couldn't preclude them. So whatever comes out, whether it's the fencing, whether it's the up to 9 a.m. at certain designations, if somehow we could get some clarity on that, just because where I've seen, in, the best of Boston or Massachusetts and a list dog parks, and we already have 2, if not 3 sites on there. Some told me that we have to allow people on. We can't say, you're not from Arlington, you can't. And if that's the case, is there a way we can fix that?
Yeah. Part of it is, it's with state and federal money. The park has been built with state and federal money. So I believe that's.
But if maybe we can investigate that some more, maybe some communities have found a way to do that.
Peter, do you want to speak on this matter?
No, thank you. Thank you.
Did you want to?
I'd like to ask, where do you think these dogs are going to come from? Somerville has their parks. They have 2 now. They've got a huge one in the planning with all drawings, and they're planning 2 more. Lexington, they're not going to come here. They have theirs. What other towns?
Yeah,
Lexington.
Under owner control, off-leash at all hours.
I think
Brookline's not
Lexington,
gonna come.
Boston, Somerville, Cambridge.
But they have
Winchester.
their
I know,
own.
but you know what? I've heard from dog owners in Cambridge that do go over there that say, they're starting to get sort of forced out of their areas that they're designated, and they do come to Arlington because it's not as packed over there. The one down by, what's the water? No, in Cambridge, the one by Fresh Pond.
Oh.
Fresh Pond. I've been down to that one, and I've spoken to some people, and I've met 2 or 3 people that said, I said, have you ever gone to Arlington? And they said, well, I usually go there, but I was in a rush this morning. So you asked me the question, and I do think Lexington. I spoke to people Lexington up by Summer Street who are ready to come to Reeds Brook. So
Can I
I don't just put it out there.
No, I know. I just want to say, first of all, that the early morning hours the parks are virtually empty. I think that people need to go to work in the morning. They need to take their kids to school. They're not going to drive that far to come early in the morning to Arlington. And if they do, it's an open question whether it would really make a difference with respect to usage. And the other thing, if I may comment on the dense community, what I didn't mention in my remarks, because I was trying to be brief, is that New York City has a program, which is a pretty dense community, has a program which is a mixture of 40 fenced dog parks and many more parks where the hours are 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And that's worked for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I know we've been at this many years, and I know...
We'll be at it for many more.
Oh, I know. I mean,
You heard the healthcare discussion.
Believe me, yes. So I think we need to chip away at it and find the right solution.
I'll say, my daughter lives in New York, and we walk her dog in those parks. They are very far away from residential. That's the wonderful thing about New York. It's got huge open spaces that are usually half a block away from residential areas. The problem we're having this spring is exactly those same hours, and it's because they're so close to the abutters. And that is really problematic. And it's not even, we've had one warm weekend, and I get all the nasty dog emails.
I know you do. I know you do. And
it's an issue I've taken on for myself. But we are too densely populated to have those early hours so close to the residential communities, the residences. It's too close.
I do think that's a perfect example of an area where Parks and Recreation would want to exclude. But I think there are many areas where the impact would be basically nothing. I mean, many areas when I go,
I think it's
Yeah.
better that it's in the hands of this board than put it in the hands of poor Joe Conley, who has more than enough to
oh,
do.
the Parks and Rec Commission, I mean,
Yeah.
which I believe is their role, it should be their role to determine the details of how park space is used.
Okay. There's others waiting to speak here, yes.
I'd just like to speak in favor of A-Dog.
Yeah.
One,
Sorry, name and address.
oh,
sorry.
my name is James Goebel, and I live at 89 Sunset Road in Arlington. One of the things I was uncomfortable with Green Dog is it wasn't clear where the money was coming from or what the money was going to be. It wasn't even clear what the agenda was, and it seemed to sort of stir things up. I think A-Dog is very clear in what it's proposing. I think in that way it can be less contentious than Green Dog. And it has built into it some flexibility, you know, that the Parks and Rec can respond to people who object to it being close to a school or being close to a bike path. So I would like you to reconsider.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah Goldsmith, 21 Deborah, here in Arlington. As the owner of a largish puppy who really does need to run in order to be a healthy, happy dog, it's been extremely difficult to discover that Arlington is really no longer even dog-friendly or tolerant. To have open spaces, for instance, the area near the Boys and Girls Club, where there is no house right there, where a dog can run safely, where you can teach a dog to be safe off-leash, which you can't do in your own backyard. They have to have the experience of larger and larger distances. That's the sort of space that it seems to me makes a lot of sense, and I'd like to see this committee really think hard about the hours before 9 o'clock in the morning. That's the only thing being suggested. I absolutely agree that there are dog owners who do not respect the rest of the community. They need to be held accountable, you know, they do, and there needs to be a way to enforce the existing rules while giving an opportunity for dogs to be happy and healthy. The dogs who get into trouble with other people are dogs that are not being given the exercise they need or the training they need. So there are a lot of ways to educate people, but restricting them, telling them that they're even breaking the law on a 26-foot leash is not the way to cultivate a good, healthy owner dog population in this town. So please think hard about it. And I do think it's time. I don't think going through another whole season without a plan is going to help things get better. I think we need to start working with it. Thank you.